I'm going to be sharing my experience of this past year. I'm going to start with a text from Isaiah chapter 45, verse 3. And this is what God wants to give us in darkness. The Bible says, "And I will give thee the treasures of darkness." You see, God gives us treasures in darkness, or God gives us precious lessons that He teaches us while we're in darkness. The reason why He teaches these lessons in darkness, so that when we're in darkness, He teaches these lessons so that we can go out when it becomes light. When we go out into the light, then we can go and help other people who are also hurting and suffering with the same comfort that we received ourselves. This past 15 months has been a hard time for me. I've been sick on medical disability, and it's been a long and hard road. And it is only today I'm actually getting off medical disability. And during this time, there are a lot of nights where I was in such pain, and I'll be lying down on my bed, and I didn't think I would make it through the night. And my prayer every night would be, when I was going through this pain, was, "Lord, into your hands I commend my spirit," and not thinking I would wake up in the morning. And through these times of darkness I was going through, and this whole experience of pain and my suffering of my family, it was during this time that God was teaching me these treasures in darkness, these precious lessons that I could not learn when I was in the light. So now that I was in darkness, God wanted to put me into timeout to teach me the lessons that He wanted me to learn. These lessons that God has taught me in darkness, that when I come out into the light, as I'm beginning to now, God wants to take these lessons He's taught me in darkness and to help other people who are also hurting and suffering and have heartache out here, who are going through darkness themselves. If God wants to teach us lessons, then darkness must be a time to listen. Don't make plans, don't make programs, and listen to things and read things while you're in darkness, or to do things and be so busy. I was always one who made plans and always wanted to do things and programs and events and meetings and everything. And I was always so busy. And during this time, God was teaching me that I needed to be still. And there's a quotation from the Spirit of Prophecy that says this, and it really spoke to me during this time of darkness. And it says, "Often our plans fail so that God's plans may succeed." And so I realized that all my plans and programming and everything that I was doing, it was all failing at this time, because I couldn't do anything when I was in darkness. But often our plans fail. My plans were failing so that God's plans for me could succeed. While it says God gives us treasures in darkness, in other words, that even when we're in darkness, God still gives us treasures. God still blesses us. And we should always remember that. And it was during this time of darkness that God was giving me treasures, and I was going through these things of suffering that I was going through. I realized that God was blessing in a powerful way. And there's a quotation I want to share with you from the Spirit of Prophecy. And it says this: "God's true workers are never laid aside, in sickness or in health, in life or in death. God uses them still." And so here I was sick and realizing, thinking to myself, "God, I'm not even being used by you. Nothing's going on." But God began to teach me this quotation, and He gave me this quotation before I even seen anything. And by faith, I believed it. And God moved my situation where I moved back to Keala, where I was from, and I had to move with my mom because of my sickness. My family had to move there. I was closer to my family. And God began to do a work in my family. I've been praying it for 20 years. And I've seen God work more in the last 6 months than I've seen Him work in the last 15 years as being a pastor. And that quotation came true. God's true workers are never laid aside. In sickness and in health, in life or in death, God uses them still. You may be going through darkness at this time. You may be going through some suffering or heartache or pain. Know that darkness is a time where God's going to teach you precious lessons, treasures to you, so you can help others when you get into the light. Also, darkness is a time to listen, to be still and know that He is God, and not to make plans. and that also in darkness, God's still going to give you treasures, and that He's going to use you when you don't feel like you can be used, and He's going to use you in the most powerful way. I want that. How about you?